Hi guys, this is just a short screencast on how to pass F7. So F7 is the financial reporting module and it's one of the last fundamental modules that you'll do before moving on to the professional modules. So it's basically dealing with groups and different various technical areas of financial accounting. It's a 3-hour exam and all of the questions are compulsory. Now you can look at this as being a good thing or a bad thing. I personally like compulsory questions because it means that you don't have that added pressure of deciding, what question to do during the exam. But also, it can have its stresses of its own whenever maybe you see a question you're thinking, gosh, I really wish another one had come up. But try and think of the good points, the fact that you're not actually going to have to be making tough decisions within the exam. And this F7 module, it's a lead-in to P2, corporate reporting. So basically, if you try and establish and get a good grip of the fundamentals here, it's really going to stand you in good stead for heading on to P2. So what do you need to do? Well, you need to plan. You know exactly when your exam is going to be. It's either going to be in June or December. The timetables are on the ICCI Global website. So you know how many weeks and how many months that you have in order to prepare for this exam. So you need to try and break down the syllabus and break down the text and the question book so that you have time to go through everything and try and cover all the syllabus and basically do as many questions as you can for the exam. What else you need to do once you have this plan is keep to it. Make sure you stick to it. So, on a Friday night when everybody's going out and you had decided that you were maybe going to do a couple of chapters or a few questions, try and do them. I know it's hard, but put everybody else on hold because you can always come back to them, but you need to do this studying for this exam in a certain time. So keep up, and then you'll not fall behind and you'll not have that added pressure of trying to do loads at the end before this exam. Another thing that you need to be keeping in mind, and we always are repeating this at ICCI Belfast, is what is your motivation for doing these exams? Is it for getting a wee speedboat like you can see your man standing on there? Is it maybe to get a better job so you can go on loads of holidays? No matter what it is, keep that in mind to keep you motivated and to keep you going throughout this study period before the exam. So we have a quote here by Albert Einstein. He's saying, insanity is doing the same things over and over again and expecting different results. So why am I putting this in? Well, a lot of people, whenever they're not actually passing these exams, whenever we ask them what way they're studying and what their studying technique is, they're basically going through the text and they say, I go through the text, I read the chapters over and over again, I know it inside out, but I'm never passing this exam. Doing this over and over again and still never passing the exam should indicate that you need to be doing something different. And what is it that you actually need to be doing? Well, you need to be practicing what you're actually doing on the exam day, which is past exam questions. You need to be able to establish, a good exam technique and basically understand what you're going to be doing on the day. So here, whenever we were looking just at the examiner's report for the last F7 exam that took place, he was saying, as usual, there were some exam technique issues that caused problems. If he's pointing that out, this is an area that we really should be trying to, hit hard on. And basically, questions is the only way that you're going to actually be able to establish a good exam technique. And basically, you're trying to get the examiner on your side, during his marking. If you have a really good exam technique and a good exam structure, he's basically going to, say, this person really knows what they're talking about, and it'll be easier for them to mark. So the thoughts for this exam, you're going to be dealing with groups and various different technical areas of accountancy, as I had already mentioned. But groups is something that perhaps you haven't come across before, and it can maybe be a wee bit daunting because, it's quite a complex area. But the thing is, don't panic about this because as we can see from the report, he was saying, as with past papers, the best answered questions were the consolidation in question 1 and the financial statements preparation in question 2. Now these are big questions and it kind of should put you at ease the fact that they're very doable questions and obviously people are repeatedly doing them well. For groups, for example, the one thing that you can actually do before you go into the exam is have a good structure in place. So there's various workings that you know that you're going to have to complete, whether it be goodwill or whatever it is, and you're going to have these basically so you can write them down in the exam quickly and plug in the numbers. So you're basically racking up a lot of points and a lot of marks without doing that much work and having to put that much effort into it. So you can then concentrate on the different areas that maybe are slightly more complex and maybe maybe, more unfamiliar to in that exam. So use the syllabus. Your examiner is basically going to set the exam using the syllabus, so you should be ensuring that you're covering everything on the syllabus and noting, just exactly for, LACEs, for example, what are they actually homing in on? What are they going to be testing? And ensure that you can, do that basically. And at the end of the revision period or coming up to the exam, use the syllabus as a checklist and basically as a springboard for ideas. So if you're going through ticking them off saying yes, I've covered this, try also to think about how you've seen it in a question and maybe say, oh yeah, I remember I had difficulties doing this, and then just try and bring everything back to the forefront of your mind. What were your issues, what were the difficulties, any little tricks that you maybe spotted, just to try and keep everything fresh in your mind before you go into the exam. Technical articles, the ACCA Global website has loads of technical articles, especially on F7 and P2, for example, the corporate reporting ones, and they're definitely useful for doing this exam. Quite often, you maybe find an area that you just, something just isn't clicking, and these articles are actually written by the examiner, so not only does it home in on exactly what they're looking for, but it might actually just, help everything to fall into place, and you maybe only need 10 minutes to just read through an article, so you're not having to sit and really rack your brains doing a question, and it just might help you, see how that they're going through a question, or just exactly what they're actually trying to hit on. So basically, plan your studies, keep at the studies, don't get distracted, and try and use the resources available to you on the ACCA Global website. And this is definitely a very doable exam, and you'll be all grand. Good luck and all the best.